Okay, it's that time again. We're going to do some questions and comments from the YouTube channel videos. So here we go. This is from EVG Lenka. How to make positive changes in life without believing the thoughts. If you continue to not believe the thoughts or continue to disregard thoughts as defining of reality, then you will see positive change, but it can take some time. And it may get worse before it gets better. This is from Caution Up Ahead. Angela, you mentioned samadhi often. How do we get there? Thanks. Samadhi is essentially a manufactured silence, a manufactured calmness of the mind. So meditative practices are very good for that. Someone here said, really helpful stuff. This is from BSO Wow. Thank you. This from Joe Delatore. Thank you, Angelo. Am I making a decision to rise up, walk to the refrigerator, and get a drink? No. Or is it happening spontaneously while my mind narrates the sequence after the fact? Essentially, yes. Even the experience of having made a decision at some point is after the fact, based on elegant, well-designed fMRI studies now. But that doesn't mean that you should convince yourself or use the understanding of that, not the experience, but the understanding of non-agency to justify not practicing, not doing self-inquiry, et cetera. That's a total misunderstanding. But yes, essentially, the decisions are made before we are consciously aware that they're made and before we take action. Yeah. This is from Darfish. That's a cool name. Thank you. You're welcome, Darfish. With various shifts, I've found reactivity dwindling and presence deepening. It's a beautiful thing. This is from Renko. It totally is. The day I noticed the voice and body movements coming effortlessly, nothing to nothing, is the day reactivity began to ebb. Yes. Yes, the effortlessness of mere appearance. The effortlessness of mere appearance being all that's found. The effortlessness of noticing, because the noticing, the awareness, the consciousness, I'll just say awareness. The awareness is the appearance itself. That noticing basically throws all of the sense of doership, time, space out the window. And it leads to reactivity very quickly when we are willing to disregard thoughts, narratives, conclusions, labels, all of it. This comes from Non-Dual 1799, also known as Indira. She says, I love it. Everyone is awake. Not everyone realizes it. True. Surrender, trust, intuition. Yes, beautiful. Yes. Surrender, trust, intuition. Intuition that takes you beyond the words, takes you beyond the concepts, beyond your own thoughts. That's the kind of intuition we're always pointing to here. Where can I find the video? Someone's asking about on shorts. For my shorts, you can find the video by looking at the title of the short and just searching that on my channel page. Someone said about the documentary, nice work. Brings back great memories from 50 years ago. Awesome. Love it. Or better yet, love. Just straight up love with no object. I agree. That's from Love, Change, Grow. Thank you, Love, Change, Grow. It's from Christina. This is on the interview I did with Pam, which is a great interview if you haven't seen it. There's just kind of this paradoxical emptiness, infinity thing. That's a quote from the video, and they gave a okay sign and a rainbow, which is true. This comes from Christy Dawn. Angelo, thank you for all these different interviews. Could you do a video about being a Bodhisattva? I heard you talk about that in a meeting with Violet, and it really struck something. Bodhisattva energy, the Bodhisattva vows, the Bodhisattva, I kind of consider it more of an archetype even, an ideal. Certainly in Mahayana Buddhism it is. It's a really beautiful archetype. The archetype of the one that if you ask them where they're going to go after they die, they would say to hell, because that's where the most help is needed. This comes from Sweet Melly Sue. I'm using this video to distract myself from doing stuff I don't want to do, to be honest. Well, at least you're honest, right? That's half the battle right there. But if you're going to distract yourself with a full-on, direct pointing non-duality video. It's going to be of huge benefit. This comes actually from the same commenter. They commented this one first. Hi, it's Melody. Now that I have had some shifts from last week, my mind is moving much slower, and I'm able to see when I start to change or switch to do something else just out of habit. I am like, wait, I don't have to do that anymore because I don't really give a shit anymore. Wow. Has this been a realization? I still have the inertia going from 50 plus years of old habits that I do to distract myself when I get uncomfortable in feelings or emotions. It is funny to see it happen before your eyes. That's true. As we wake up, we start to see like, okay, the habits aren't gone. Some of them might be, but a lot of them aren't gone. But now we're completely conscious of the habit and how maybe how much of a distraction it actually is rather than like, sheer entertainment. But to see these mechanisms as grace, it can be uncomfortable for sure, and it can be frustrating and daunting, but it's grace to see the mechanisms of distraction, delusion, fixation, et cetera, disassociation. Yeah, so seeing is 95% of it. This is all really about clear seeing in the end. This comes from Sunship. I come back to this interview periodically. Such wisdom from someone so young. This is an interview with Alma. I've had a few conversations with Alma, and you can find her in the Awakening Interviews playlist. I have a ton of good interviews in that playlist from many people, so check it out. Someone said, dude loves his dog more than anything, in capitals. I guess you're talking about me. Yeah, I do love my dog. Dogs. This comes from Ryan Dempsey. I'm actually getting that Tyler Durden moment more and more as the shadow integrates. The shadow is making me do this or that, or the shadow is feeding me this thought and hijacking my mind. Who's the shadow? LOL. Okay, the comment is, if there is a how, there is a doer. I wouldn't say it that way, because you don't create reality by having a thought, right? So you could wonder how, or you could imagine how this happens. This is happening like this and this and this. Those thoughts, whether they're there or not, don't change this at all. They don't change reality, right? So the statement's kind of backwards, like that if there's a how, there must be a doer. I would say rather opposite. Once you see through doership, once the illusion of doership is just sort of just gone, then you could lose interest in how. It doesn't matter how. There's no sense of like, do I need to know how, right? Now, in conventional terms, sure, you can learn something. You can learn a process or something. But I think this is more metaphysical, a question or statement here. So the hows just go away. The hows and whys, it's like there's not really an answer to that. As far as like the action of reality, the action of appearances, if that makes sense. Not that any of this matters. This doesn't really matter. You don't need to know any of this or believe it or understand it for awakening, by the way. This is a comment from Ron McFarlane. Another great interview with an interesting, compassionate person who appeals by a seeming lack of ego. This is the interview I did with Chelsea, who's wonderful. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Very curious to hear more about her admittedly personal interest in degenerative processes and their relationship to spiritual growth. Yeah. You wouldn't wish it on anybody, but major health challenges that especially that lead to just like loss of function, they in a way cut off your apparent plethora of choices often. And when that's taken away, it's really uncomfortable for a while, often, and then it's freedom. When it's realized what's actually being recognized in that moment. Yeah. The freedom that comes from realizing that your illusion of choice, your illusion of maybe longevity even, was just that. It was an illusion. It was like a coping mechanism. When you can't have it anymore, reality's still here, or this is still as it is, but often much clearer. Someone else said about the same video, thank you for interviewing a therapist. I'm completing my practicum as a therapist at a residential detox 30-day treatment facility where people are ripe for identity shifts. I'm sure they are. I got clean myself and was still struggling last year after divorce. Angelo's book and these teachings have brought deeper peace. Good. As a nestie into my niche as a therapist, I strive to share the flavor of this. Recently introduced to bioenergetics, which might resonate with people here. Focus on the raw sensations in the body being prior to the thoughts, stories, and emotions. They are indeed. Also fascinated by memory reconciliation from the perspective time being illusory. So excited to be part of what appears to be happening. Thank you. That's from Love Leanne. Ryan Dempsey. It says 100% on the power and, at times, the necessity for therapy. This is, again, the Chelsea interview. Most importantly, with a realized therapist. Yeah, for sure. Plan is to make a list, a sort of referral list that people can go to find a therapist that can work with them in this way. There are many aspects of the psyche that unfold, and having a realized therapist that is skilled at working with therapeutic healing is invaluable. Totally agree. This is from Raventi. Your videos are a blessing. So much appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And truly a candle in the night. The videos are. I'm glad to hear that they're helpful for you, for sure. I'll keep making them. This one says, this is a comment on my video. On the documentary, Awake, It's Your Turn documentary. For everyone wanting to find a way to progress spiritually and realize the truth in this lifetime, I strongly advise you to read the book Autobiography of a Yogi from Paramahansa Yogananda, and you will understand more about God and how to be free from the suffering of this world. And by incarnating the truth, how you can bring your loved ones and other people to follow this path too. I don't know. It's a good book. I do agree. It's a good book. Check it out. I'm not sure how direct it is as far as direct pointing to a process of awakening itself, but it's very interesting historically. It's a pretty cool book. This part about bringing your loved ones and people to follow this path, that doesn't. In my experience, that doesn't work. It's a act of futility, and it will lead to frustration. But more importantly, if you're trying to get people to follow something or follow you, you should really look at what you're trying to do. Are you trying to wake up yourself, or are you trying to, get people into your club, or trying to get validation by getting people to agree with you or something? It's important to look into that. Someone in reference to the documentary said, that moment when the entire universe goes dead quiet, nothingness, but with peace that can't be explained. Yes, the peace that passeth all understanding. This is from Megan Knight. Thank you so much for posting this. It's exactly what I'm going through. My childhood traumas, which I thought I had resolved until my mom came and lived by me, and all my triggers have come back. I stopped my practices because I've been feeling too distracted and low. Now I know why. This is a reference to the video. Which video is that? Let's see if I can figure it out. I have my screen scrunched down. Let's see. The video's called Go Easy on Yourself. Yeah. Please go easy on yourself. This is an intense process at times, for sure. It's a full-on process. You can't negotiate with it. So yeah. And it does things like this. It'll move your mom close enough to you to get all your triggers out, or whatever needs to happen. Someone said, anticipation has helped me many times. Learning in life makes you able to anticipate things and act accordingly, or am I mistaken? I would just say the closer you look, the more you realize like all that thought stuff about, oh, what's going to happen in a minute? How do I plan for it? Like living things in your mind that aren't happening that make you feel like you're preparing and replaying things in your mind. Turns out that's not actually necessary. You learn regardless of whether there's a bunch of reflective thoughts or not. Learning will happen. But you can take my word for it or not. It doesn't matter. Once you see it, it just becomes obvious. And that's when a great relaxation can happen, when you don't have to feel like you're in control of the world through thought or of time or of yourself or whatever. This is from Trevor Furness. Angelo, I think this is the first time I've ever become aware of the perfection that is the elephant in the room. Thank you so much. The perfection that is the elephant in the room. Isn't that beautiful? This one was really powerful. This is from Joshua Hutt. Let's see what they said. What this video is. It's don't ruin the soup by trying to be the chef. This one was powerful because I realized that experiencing energetic movement is all there is to do. Totally. There's just energy. There's just energetic movement and stillness. But that's all you need to do. That is the process. Can you stay with it? How distracted will you get? How many narratives will you follow, and how long will you follow those narratives before you start to let go of them? I've been clinging to some illusion of perfect equanimity manifesting as peace and positive feelings in every moment, and by doing so, I delay the experience of the not so peaceful and positive feelings. This is an interesting one. This is from Ian. I was with you up until fear. For me, that fear is one of being distracted by and lost to external social fantasy. Being minute in an infinite universe is different kind of fear, exciting and comforting, seeking to return home. Yeah, maybe. I would say maybe the seeking to return home or the sense of being minute or belief in minuteness is really just a side effect in thoughts, but what you're actually touching into is the interconnectedness, the intimacy, because it is deeply peaceful. This is good. Renko said, a friend of mine used to say, worry twice as much, see if that helps. Same applies to struggle as well. Yeah, suffer some more to see if that helps you. Struggle some more, see how that works for you. Right? Sounds like cynical, but it's not. It's like if trying not to struggle doesn't seem to work for you, struggle more, see what happens, But look at it from all the angles. Just get out that magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes and start looking at what's actually happening inside of you. Keep looking, keep looking, keep looking, keep asking. Look at it from all different angles. Feel. That's what this is about. I've been preventatively, this is Frogger 703. I've been preventatively distracting myself into very specific ongoing situations, and instead, I need to view those as openings and opportunities, as I need to look closely for other opportunities I'm missing. I think I need to look at small things like boredom and not just big things like intense anxiety. Yes, huge. Look at the simple things, boredom, like mildly anxious, mildly distracted, impatient, frustrated. Look closely. What do those actually mean and say, these feelings? How often are they there? You may find frustrations there a lot, right? This person may not, but I know people who just being around them, you feel their frustration like pretty much all day long. So look at it. Why? What is it saying? What is that frustration doing for you? What is it taking from you? What is it costing you? Right? So yeah, these more mundane experiences are gold mines for sure. This person, Ravanti, said, what I've become aware of is not resisting so much. Not that resisting at times does occur, But what seems more prevalent is second guessing of my thoughts and actions. Maybe I shouldn't have said or done a particular thing. It's exhausting. Yeah, second guessing yourself. Rumination, right? Sometimes we do it with the past, sometimes we do it with the future. It's just thought. And it is exhausting because it really does require effort to keep moving our attention out of presence. Okay. Can you make a video on relaxing into the silence and stillness? All my videos are about that. Really. Seems basic, but shadow work has activity afterwards. Okay. So yeah, if you want to compare it and make a contrast to like shadow work or even inquiry, anything on natural meditation, right? Natural meditation. That's the go-to here. Stillness and silence. Look at my whole playlist on consciousness. There's a whole bunch of sort of quote unquote approaches, but they will become not approaches at some point. They'll be a surrendered knowing that is quite miraculous. Yeah. And it's powerful, and there's a lot of depth and stillness to it. Someone said, The Secret, a book, made over $1 million by not telling the whole truth. That's funny. Okay. Someone said, this is from Nick. I understand that this awakening can be helpful to relax and feel bliss. That's not why I point to awakening, by the way. That's a like a meditative experience, and that's fine. It's good to do that. But I don't see how it helps to navigate the world we live in. That's the whole point. It helps to navigate the world we live in because it teaches you to navigate, ultimately, teaches you to navigate without resistance, struggle, reactivity, delusion. That's the whole point. And then someone said, as far as awakening, easier said than done, I think. Yeah, probably. It's actually effortless. So it's not easy or hard. But to talk about it is one thing. To go through it's totally different. But the key to going through it is to really, really, really see what's holding you up, what you're holding on to, how clear you are on the fact that all that seeking and all that effort in life aren't giving you what you really seek. The seeking just feels more uncomfortable. Seeing that clearly is really key. Someone said, I have trouble with understanding some of your terms, but I do find great value in your teachings. Don't worry about the terms. Feel into the vibe of it, just like a poem. Like you don't have to like analyze each word of a poem and go, what's the definition of that? What's the definition of that? Just feel into it. Like let the poem point your attention somewhere, like between the words themselves. That's how this is about. So I really don't care if you understand the words I'm saying. As things do clarify and you have some direct experience, then the precision of the words can be helpful for subtle insights. But for the most part, just feel into what this feels like, where it seems to be pointing you. That's all that matters. Okay. Hey, it's been fun. Keep the comments and questions coming and we'll keep answering them.